It was the year 1999. I was 18 years old. And as I walked in home after a day at school in the 12th standard, I saw my mother sitting at the dining table looking very tired, disturbed, confused. I couldn't make out what was wrong, but the air in the room was really thick. It was heavy. And I just felt really uncomfortable. I wanted to ask her what happened, and I'm not sure. I think I did ask her as well, but she just behaved as though she didn't hear me. And I felt really uncomfortable. I went off into my room. And then, day after day, I noticed my mother change. She was not the same jovial person who loved doing everything and hosting parties at home or calling relatives over or the interest in cooking. The vibrant personality that she had been was just becoming closed down, detached, aloof, or highly irritable, very critical. And over the years, I began to resent my mother to an extent. But it also confused me as to how can someone's personality change so drastically? Like, why is she being so irritable? And this very confusion in me led me to study psychology as my subject for graduation after 12th standard. And I thought psychology would have all the answers in the world for me. And instead of having the answers, I just put all my energy into studies, and I gradually forgot about my problems. And I had new problems of exams to write and movies to act in while I did that. And I just knew that there was something wrong, but I couldn't point my finger at it and say, this is what it is. And it was beyond the visible already. Now let's cut to the year 2024. I turned 43. I got married through an arranged marriage to a wonderful human being who is extremely spiritually awake. I shifted to the US for a year, leaving my film career behind. And I started a whole new life, and I thought it was going to be amazing. And everybody thought, wow, you're so lucky. But what I was feeling inside was confusion, lack of memory, brain fog, inability to sleep well, unexpected weight gain. I was feeling anxious or depressed or confused. I was highly irritable. And even though I had been researching this very topic, trying to unearth the mystery of my mother's problems since I was 18 years old, it did not dawn on me that I was going through exactly that which I was trying to solve all my life. When one day, finally, I saw a program on the internet, one of the podcasts that I had been watching, and a doctor was talking about this word, which is beyond the visible. It's beyond the visible. You will never see this as it is, but you will experience it if you are a woman between the ages of 35 and 55. And the word is perimenopause. And the moment I heard that word, I said, oh, this is what has been eluding me all my life. And now, when I'm experiencing it personally, I realize that it is an absolute change. So why am I saying this here in a campus where you have young students? It's because you will understand very easily what I'm talking about if I tell you the word adolescence. You're all just through it, or you're going through it, or you've just gotten beyond that phase of adolescence. We call it a time when we are changing from child to adult. And how are we doing that change? Through hormonal shifts. Nobody tells us about this word I have coined myself in my new upcoming book called Womenopause. I coined this word called womenescence. It is a second adolescence all over again. Can you believe it? Every woman, only women go through this, by the way. in this intensity, the way a teenager goes through it between 13 and 19, or around that time in what we call adolescence. A woman goes through a second adolescence called, I call it womenescence because there isn't a word, because nobody talks about it and no one educates us on this subject. Women go through a second adolescence or a change of hormones. And this is the most confusing era that a woman can go through, especially because no one talks about this. I thought this is an idea worth sharing on a TEDx platform because every one of you sitting here are facing this in some way or the other through your mother, and you are lucky to be in the divine presence of Amma because she is bliss, pure bliss. But all our mortal mothers who are sitting at home may not be able to stay in that blissful state without our support. I want to bring to awareness of everyone, children, men, women, everybody, that this phase exists and we need to start addressing it and we need to study about it. So I'm just going to give you a few brief ideas about what this is. I'm sure you already understood that it is a hormonal change akin to adolescence, which I'm calling womenescence. So I would like to title this talk, How is Amma? I would urge every one of you to speak to your mother either in person or over the phone today and genuinely check in on her. Amma, how are you doing? How do you feel? Because this is so beyond the visible. She will look absolutely fine. You look at her and you'll think, yeah, Amma's fine. But no, I'm very sure that you are all teenagers and your mother is definitely going through this phase in some way or the other. And you might have found her a little too much. We call it too much. That is, a little too irritable, a little too controlling, a little too short-wired. But now you understand, she is going through a tremendous change that even she is not most likely aware of. I think most ladies in Kerala, India, and the world are not aware of this change because no one talks about it. So I thought I will start talking about it because I personally went through it and it's a subjective experience. So we are only here to talk among women who are in middle age to find the answers, because the first answer is awareness in everything, be it self-realization, be it the realization of your body. It has to start with consciousness. Then you have to be able to shift your energy by doing various lifestyle changes. Third, you have to change your mental makeup about the subject. Fourth, you need to change your bodily chemistry through supplementation, diet, and exercise, and all of that. But above all of this, the reason I am talking about this subject here is that a woman's health, she being the fulcrum of the family, determines how her children will experience life, how her husband's life will change, and how they will take this energy out into the world, how they will influence their peers and their colleagues, and how that will extend out into society. So literally, each woman in the center of each family has a responsibility to the whole of society. And for that, we need to first educate women on their health, on the things that are natural. Because the number one problem that you face when you go through this phase as a woman is that you think it's about you. You think there's something wrong with you. You think something is going very wrong and you're confused and you are deteriorating, and now there's no hope. And this hopelessness and this shame and blame that women go through can only be changed by normalizing this conversation and understanding what is really going on, and that suffering is optional. The change is natural and is going to happen to everyone, but suffering is optional because women can educate themselves, change their lifestyle, and the way they communicate to their loved ones, especially men. We cannot expect men to understand what this is because they do not have 5 hormones predominantly running their system. They are a much more simple energy system which has a single hormone system. So they want clear instructions from their loved ones. And so the lady telling her husband exactly what she's going through will help him support her. Telling her children exactly what is going on in her life will help her children be supportive towards her. Because most teenagers that I asked and interviewed, and I also checked with studies that were done on this subject, they found that children start resenting their mother during their teenage years. They say she's controlling us too much. They're all constantly having fights with their mother. It's all because of this reason, two hormonally charged stages of life. So I thought this was a idea worth sharing, and I hope you will all check on your mother's health and ask her to share her most vulnerable issues that she's facing, confusions that she wants answers to, because today you have all the answers in your hands. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about your smartphones. And you know how to use them and search the internet and find the answers. So please find the answers that your mother needs. And to all of you here, support the ladies in your life who are in midlife, be it your mother, your sister, your wife, your grandmother, I don't know, everyone here. Just help out the women in their lives become more aware about the stage called perimenopause. I hope you will all help us make life much better and more comfortable on earth for all of us by spreading awareness to ladies in midlife. Thank you.